The perfect DAY. They say your wedding day is the happiest day of your life. And for me, it really was. Every moment felt like a fairy tale. The music, the lights, the way Adam looked at me when I walked down the aisle. Even the little mistakes, like my nephew tripping over flower petals or the best man forgetting half his speech, made everything feel more real or beautiful. Everyone told me how lucky I was, but no one warned me how quickly luck can vanish. I remember waking up the next morning still wearing part of my wedding dress. My head was light, still spinning slightly from the champagne, but my heart was full. Adam was already out of bed. I assumed he went to grab coffee for us, but there was no note, no text. I ignored it. An hour passed, then 2. Still no sign of him. I tried calling, straight to voicemail. I checked his location. Turned off, my heart kicked for the first time. I dressed quickly, grabbed my phone, and went down to the hotel lobby. Maybe he was with his brother. Maybe he went for a walk. Maybe ... That's when the receptionist stopped me. Mrs. Callahan, she said gently, "There's something you need to see." She handed me a folded envelope. My name was written on it in Adam's handwriting. Inside, a single sentence. "I'm sorry. I can't do this." My knees gave out. I don't know how long I sat on the lobby floor, clutching that note like it might change if I held it tightly enough. The whispers started. A bridesmaid came and gasped. Adam's best man turned pale. People started asking questions. I had no answers. I opened our honeymoon app. The flights had been canceled. The honeymoon suite was never booked. I opened our joint bank account. Empty, gone. The $40,000 I had saved for our new life vanished. I called Adam again. Then his brother, then his parents. Nothing. No response. But then a message came in from an unknown number. You should have listened to the warnings. He was never who he said he was. I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. Who sent this? What warnings? I went back to our wedding photographer's Instagram. He'd been posting live behind-the-scenes photos all night. I paused on one in particular. Adam standing with his arm around someone, a woman. Her face was turned, slightly blurred. I zoomed in. She had a small tattoo on her wrist, the same tattoo Adam's ex had. Her name was Clara. The one he claimed to have blocked months ago. The one he couldn't get over. She was at our wedding. I called my best friend. She picked up on the second ring. "I need you," I whispered. She showed up in minutes. When I showed her the message and the photo, her face went white. She looked at me and said, "I didn't want to say anything before the wedding, but I saw him with her 3 nights before the ceremony." My stomach turned. He said she was just dropping something off. She continued, "He begged me not to tell you. Said it would upset you for no reason." My head was spinning. So many lies. So much trust destroyed in just hours. The man who kissed my forehead at the altar had planned this. He never planned to stay. The secrets, beyond the SMILE, the hotel suite, felt colder when I returned. My husband was still asleep, completely unaware that our future had just been shattered. I stood at the edge of the bed. Watching him, he looked peaceful, safe, like someone who still believed nothing could go wrong. I envied him. I didn't tell him, not yet, because deep down, part of me was afraid. Afraid of what he might say, or worse, what he might think. Would he think I was stupid for trusting her? Would he see me as weak? I looked at my phone. Rachel's voice still echoed in my ears. "Don't forget, I know things." What did she mean? Family story built on GLS as that night, after pretending everything was fine. Dinner, laughter, forced smiles. I went into the hotel bathroom and locked the door. I opened the folder I kept hidden in the cloud, titled "If Something Happens." It had all my backups, financial records, and logs. I started comparing transfer records, security alerts, and old messages. That's when I found the email. 3 weeks ago. Someone accessed my account from my mom's old laptop, the one we kept. In Rachel's apartment, the login was masked VPN, fake IP. But the person used my birthday as the recovery key. It could only be Rachel. But why now? Why wait until the wedding? A flashback I had Nora to suddenly it hit me. 3 nights before the wedding. I found Rachel in my room. She was holding my wedding dress, slowly caressing the fabric. I laughed. She just smiled and said, "You know, I always thought I'd be the first to walk down the aisle." Then she whispered, "I guess that's just one more thing you took from me." I didn't think much of it at the time, but now the smile. The way she said took instead of got, ... Rachel didn't see my wedding as a celebration. She saw it as a war. The uninvited GUSD the next morning back home. I started reaching out to the wedding guests. That's when I noticed something I'd missed in all the chaos. Uncle Theo was at the wedding. That wouldn't be strange, except he wasn't. Invited dote, he and my father had a falling out years ago. Estranged since a legal battle over a will. My dad swore never to speak to him again. But there he was, seen in photos. Toasting champagne, even dancing with Rachel. Why would she invite him? What did he have to do with this? I reached out to him. He responded almost immediately. She said, "You knew that you forgave me." Forgave him, ... For what? My heart raced. Rachel was planting stories, rewriting people's memories, twisting the narrative, turning allies into enemies. And now, the wedding wasn't just about marriage. It was the start of a takeover. Cracks in my MRR later that week. I finally told my husband everything that had happened. He listened in silence, arms crossed, brow furrowed. When I finished, he didn't hug me, didn't ask how I was. He just said, "You let her into our finances." The coldness in his voice chilled me more than Rachel ever had. This wasn't just my sister's betrayal. This was the unraveling of everything I thought I could trust. Then came the package. A week passed. Then a box arrived at our door. No return address. Just my name written in red ink. Inside were 3 things. A flash drive, a photo of Rachel and my husband dated 2 years ago, long before I even met him, a wedding card. It read simply, "I hope it was worth it." Take flash drive. Stared at the flash drive for what felt like an hour. My hands wouldn't move. I couldn't breathe. There was a small scratch along the plastic casing, like it had been jammed into a port too many times. Like it had already been through damage. The photo sat beside it, Rachel with her arm around my husband. Both of them laughing, not the kind of fake smile you give for a camera. Real closeness, familiarity, history. I looked again at the timestamp. 2 years ago. That was an entire year before I even met him. The lies start to unravel. Waited until my husband left for the gym. Then I locked the door, closed the blinds, and opened my laptop. The flash drive loaded instantly. There was only one folder. Inside, labeled "Truth is just a matter of time." I opened it. The first file was a video. Grainy cell phone footage. Rachel's voice behind the camera, laughing, tipsy. Say it again? She says, the camera focuses on my husband, shirtless, drink in hand on some beach. He's sitting far too close to her. He smiles. "One day I'm gonna marry your sister." Rachel laughs hard. "Bullsh *T. You said I was the one you wanted." He winks at her. Then the video ends. My lungs stopped working. Next was a PDF. Screenshots of emails between Rachel and my husband dated months before he proposed to me. They talked about my inheritance, my emotional state, how to position the story so she doesn't ask too many questions, and worst of all, a message from him. The wedding is our way in. After that, we take the next step. You just have to keep her distracted. My skin went cold. I married a Syrian GR. The man I loved, the man I married, conspired with Rachel to steal my life. The love, the money, the future. All of it. I was a project, a target. I couldn't move. I couldn't cry. Only one thought pulsed through me. Why? Why would he do this? Why would Rachel? What did I do to deserve this kind of betrayal? That night, I didn't sleep. At sunrise, I called Rachel. She picked up immediately, like she was waiting. So she said, "You saw it." I tried to keep my voice from shaking. "You planned this." "Both of you? From the beginning." Silence. Then she said, calm as ever, "You took everything from me. I'm just taking it back." "What the hell are you talking about?" Another pause, then she whispered, "Ask Mom." I froze. "Mom is dead, Rachel." Silence. "No," she said slowly. "That's just what they told Yusa Cap to Treth for. The woman in the shadows? Ask Mom." Those two words echoed in my head for hours. I hadn't thought about her death in years, mostly because it never made sense. One day she was fine. The next, she was gone. No goodbye. No note. Just a late-night call from a hospital saying there'd been an accident. Rachel had identified the body. Rachel had signed the paperwork. Rachel arranged the cremation at the time. I was too broken to question anything. But now I had to question everything. I called the hospital where they said she died. The receptionist couldn't find the file. Maybe it was archived. I asked. She transferred me. Then again, finally an older man answered. He sounded annoyed. "We have no record of a death certificate under that name for that date." I froze. "But she was cremated. My sister received the ashes." Silence. Then he asked, "Who signed the release form?" I gave him Rachel's full name, typing. Then that name was flagged. Fraudulent activity. She was barred from accessing. Records in 2018. My blood ran cold. Rachel was never allowed to sign anything, so who did we cremate? That night, I couldn't sleep. I scrolled through our wedding photos, not to relive them, but to investigate. Something inside me whispered. She was there. I combed through the crowd frame by frame. Then I saw it. A woman in black, far in the back, hat over her face, standing. Alone during the ceremony, I zoomed in, the photo blurred. But not enough to hide the features. It was her, our mother, alive, watching. Silent the next morning. A plain envelope showed up in my mailbox. No return address. Inside a single handwritten page. "You were never supposed to be part of this. I tried to protect you, but Rachel never forgave me or you. Stay away from her." "She's not done." My hands shook. She faked her own death. Or Rachel faked it for her. Either way. Someone lied, and now someone was warning me. But protecting me from what exactly? I started connecting dots. Rachel had always been the wild one, the jealous one. But what if she was something much darker? I tracked down an old therapist who worked with our family at first. She wouldn't talk, then she cracked. She wasn't just unstable, the therapist said. She was dangerous. There were incidents, things we weren't allowed to report. Like what? She hesitated. She hurt animals, threatened classmates, lied compulsively. Her records were sealed, but she was diagnosed with a serious disorder. What kind? Answer hit like a knife. Antisocial personality disorder. One final email on the flash drive caught my eye. A line that meant nothing at first. Phase 2 begins after the wedding. Now I knew what phase 1 was. Steal my money, ruin my marriage, expose family secrets. But what was phase 2? Then I remembered something. My husband, or rather the actor in this nightmare, asked me to sign a property transfer 2 days before the wedding just for tax purposes. It said, flashing that perfect smile. He'd transferred the deed to my childhood home into his name. A house I hadn't stepped into in over a decade. A house where Rachel used to hide things. I had to go back. What secrets are hidden inside the house Rachel grew up in? And why is phase 2 even more terrifying than everything that's happened so far? Final chapter. The house remembers MERYTH. The front door creaked open like it had been waiting for me, or warning me to turn back. I hadn't stepped inside that house in over 10 years. The wallpaper still peeled the same way. The chandelier still hung crooked. The same crack ran down the hallway floor. The one Rachel once swore was made by a ghost. But now I knew the real ghosts had names: Rachel, my husband, and maybe my mother. I walked slowly through the house. Something about the air felt wrong, too still, too quiet, like the walls were holding their breath. Then I opened the door to the basement. The basement smelled like rot and old wood. My flashlight beam cut through the dust. I moved boxes and cloth aside. And there it was, a second flash drive taped beneath a loose floorboard, labeled Phase 2 Final Act. I took a breath and plugged it into my laptop. There were videos, dozens of them, each one dated and time-stamped. Each one labeled with my name. They had been recording me. 4 months, private conversations, therapy sessions, even footage of me sleeping. They had installed cameras, wiretaps. They listened to everything. And then a document, a fake psychiatric file signed by a real doctor. Perfectly forged. It claimed I was unstable, delusional, a danger to myself. The final line made my blood freeze, recommended for involuntary psychiatric commitment. Phase 2 wasn't about stealing my life. It was about erasing me from it. Make me look insane, lock me away, take over all my assets under medical guardianship. Rachel didn't just want my money. She wanted my identity and my husband. The man I trusted most was the executor of the plan. I collapsed on the basement floor. I was minutes, maybe days, away from being institutionalized, forgotten, declared unfit, while Rachel wore my clothes and lived my life. But she made a mistake. She underestimated what I do when I'm cornered. I downloaded everything from the drive, backed it up, then sent it to 5 trusted friends with a simple message: if anything happens to me, release this everywhere. Then I hacked into Rachel's cloud using her birthday, her pet's name, the things I remembered better than she thought. What I found was more than incriminating: fake passports, offshore accounts, and a signed confession she forgot to delete. A draft email to my mother. She was always the favorite. You should have picked me now. I'll take it all and no one will miss her. I smiled. The game had just changed. That night, I uploaded everything, the videos, the emails, the audio of Rachel laughing about the scam, the photos of her and my husband, before we ever met, and I sent it to every guest at our wedding hour old high school alumni list, the media YouTube channel that exposes scammers in 24 hours. It went viral, millions of views, thousands of comments. The sister's scam, the bride targeted by her own blood. Rachel tried to flee. She was arrested crossing a state border with a fake ID. My husband. Reporters cornered him outside his office. He lost his job, his licenses, his entire reputation. They thought they could bury me. Instead, I became the shovel. Weeks later, I got a call from a blocked number. A raspy voice said, "She's not done. She never is. But this time, she's not coming for you." Then, who is she after now? The line went dead. I stared at my phone, and for the first time in months, I smiled. Because I had one last secret Rachel never knew. Before the wedding, I moved my real money into a fund she couldn't touch. The account she drained. It was a decoy. The real gift was the trap, and she walked right into it with both hands. They tried to ruin me the day I said I do. Okay, now? Every day they spend behind bars. It's my vow fulfilled.